Yo, what's up, everybody?
What's up?
It's your boy Blitz.
And I'm your boy Blur.
Yo, what's up, everybody? So you see right behind us, we got the CyberPunk 2020 up in there with the fresh game changers sponsorship on that thing.
That's right.
So we as we building it up, man, y'all follow, y'all can see us kind of grow to that new standard. But anyway, enough of that small talk. Yo, we came to talk to y'all about the first act or the first portion of the games for CyberPunk 2077. Yo.
And we got some issues with it. We like the game. We can see that they put much love in the game.
Yeah.
But before we even get into all that, we're going to acknowledge that, yes, there is a myriad of different glitches. I played on the computer. I didn't have a chance, or didn't really want to after I heard how bad it was, play on the PS4, because I do have a PS4. But we did review the beginning of the street.
Yeah, we did the Street Kid, Nomad, and Corp.
And the Street Kid we did do on, if I'm not mistaken, the PlayStation.
Yeah, PS4. It was on PS4. PS5 is still in the mail.
Sorry, right. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna let him talk to you about some of the glitches that he found on the PS4 and see if there was any game-breaking bugs in there, because we want to just get out the way, because we know we don't want people to be like, well, y'all didn't know about the bugs. Yes, we saw them. I seen cars crash into buildings. I seen motorcycles rain from the sky,
and that was on PC.
Right. I've seen things just blow up and people ducking around. I've seen my health bar disappear completely. You know, I've seen a lot of stuff, but nothing that take me out of the immersion of the game. But since he's been on the PlayStation 4 plan, I'm going to let him tell you some of the things that he's had to deal with and see if there was any game breaking or anything that took him out of the immersion of the game. Go ahead, Blitz.
All right, y'all. So, PS4 wise. So, everyone's familiar with the story so far. So, we're on our fourth patch?
About third, I think third.
I think we're on our third patch, 1.06, I think is the last one I did. Even after the patches, there's been a few little hiccups on it. There are times on the PS4 where I can't jump. There are times when I can't scan. That happened to me this morning, actually. I couldn't even scan the crowd. I had to log out of the game and then get back into it just so I can even scan stuff.
Hold on, that. I have had that.
You had that too?
I've had that on PC. The can't scan problem.
Yeah, and you know, scan is just your L1 where you can scan the surroundings. But if you're watching this video, you probably know that already. So no spoiler alerts, I'm sure. And it's been a couple of times I actually got a video copy of my motorcycle hovering 2 feet in the air.
And we're going to try to put that in here so you can see his motorcycle hovering, 2 feet in the air, but still hitting everything as it drives through. You would think it would hover over the rocks, but no, he hitting rocks and still.
Yeah, it was a little confusing. Go back over there. Back that up. Back that up, Playboy. Back that up. Back that up. Oh my God. Oh boy, levitating. I did drive my motorcycle into the water, and I was able to kind of ride it underwater. As long as I was on my bike, I wasn't drowning, and I was just in the water, just like, and it was scooting along like a little bit at a time. The second I got off my bike, I started drowning, so I got back on the bike and just rode my bike underwater for a while. So it's a. All right, I just drove my bike underwater, and my man is just rocking with it. Yeah, I'm in the lake. Actually, drove off the cliff. So it's a couple of glitches in there. There's been times I called my vehicle, and it just didn't come.
Oh yeah,
it pops up on the screen. It says something feet away, and I'm sitting there like. Yeah, it was call the vehicle again, and sometimes you gotta do an action or talk to somebody, something like that. Then you can call your vehicle.
Well, I don't know if this is a glitch or just something they didn't think about. I've called like 3 or 4 vehicles in a row and had a traffic jam, and then ran off and left the people honking at my vehicle. I had called the car, the motorcycle.
That's not a glitch. You're just a jerk.
That's just a jerk. Okay.
You're just a jerk.
I didn't know if that was a bug or hold on, a bug or a feature. I don't know which one that was.
You're a jerk. You're a jerk. That's what I was. So it's been a couple of little things like that, but to but it wasn't nothing that actually ruined the game for me. A couple of hiccups there, odds and ends.
Before the patches came out, how many times did the game just restart on you? Because that was one of the big issues that a lot of people had.
It was hourly, I would say. After the patches, the game still does it. It maybe does it once a day versus once an hour.
Okay.
Which is a huge improvement because it would be in the middle of like important dialogue that I would have to redo it again to catch that dialogue and stuff like that. But the autosave would save my bacon. So as annoying as it was still wasn't game ending for it because I was up to a point where I was trying to find out what was about to happen and what was going on. Things of that nature. So it didn't ruin the immersion for me. It's a little frustrating at times because, throughout the day, I don't have 17 hours a day to play the game, of course. Right. Other stuff to do.
That's right.
But it was pretty good, It didn't ruin it for me. I still play now. I'm taking a slow route, doing all the side stuff and make sure I complete it. I'm one of them guys that finish the game 100% sometimes, depending on the game, so...
Well, one thing I want to say is that we're telling you all this so you can understand that we're just not going to idly just go over and not mention the bugs, not mention things that happen in the game because we would not be, good
YouTubers,
game reviewers if we didn't mention those. Now, in saying that,
good, the bad, and ugly.
I didn't encounter any bugs that broke my immersion that made me want to return the game. I didn't, encounter anything that made me say, look, I don't like the game as far as the bugs. I've dealt with buggy stuff before, and we'll have a little monologue on at a different time about the bugs that we encountered. But we just want to let you know we saw them, they're in the game, and as of right now, we are not going to take our game back. I'm not taking my computer card back. He's not taking back the PS4 that he bought. So in saying all that, we're going to get with the good, the bad, and the downright ugly in Act 1.
Yeah.
In Act 1. So, Blitz, what is the good in Act 1?
So, story. We're talking story, people. The way they progress the story along makes you want to find out what's happening next.
True.
Because you want to see, all right, this dude V, he seemed kind of interesting guy. It doesn't dive too much in his past, whether it's the Nomad or whatever the case may be. But the way the storyline goes, and like one of my favorite things about it is Jackie's character.
I like
his personality. It makes you like him like real fast, and then he did with his mom and things of that nature. And that first act of the game was very inviting. It pulls you in, makes you want to see what's going on, makes you want to check it out.
For me, the good was one thing I didn't do. I didn't get caught up on a hype train, and I looked at the video maybe once or twice within the 12-year launch of it. And I just kept up a little bit, but I didn't get on the hype train. So to me, I know everybody's kind of mad about. I like the character customization, what you could do with the character. I know I've heard other people say that they didn't really like it. They kind of dumbed it down, but I never saw the original, as far as the original gameplay. I didn't see all the stuff that they were supposed to do. Yeah. So me coming in just from a fresh idea or just from a fresh point of view, I was like, wow, I like the way that you can customize in a myriad of, no two people have to look the same when you're customizing your character, even in just letting the computer, just letting it do it for you, like the random ones. Every one of the random ones that we did, if you check out the Corporal, the
Nomad,
and the Street Kid, it looked different. I didn't like none of them, but if that was your thing, it was like one time we made a character and we're like, oh, we messed up on the video, so we had to remake the character again. So we just used the generator. The bad thing is the character, because we had to splice everything in. Our character didn't have no fingernail polish, but the character that we picked from the character customization screen had green or red or green.
Red. It was
red fingernail polish on it. So we had to scratch it. We didn't want y'all like, why does one part of the thing has no fingernail polish, but the other one has red?
Yeah,
so we had
didn't want y'all thinking it was a glitch in the game.
Right. So we had to scrap that. But I can say just from the character customization screen, I like it. I do love the story, but since he already said the story, I'm gonna say the character customization screen. Now when I have looked on there and saw what a lot of people were saying about it, okay, yeah, they did cut it out. But if you're fresh off the block, never heard of it, got into the character customization screen, I think, any normal person who's not a gamer or in the gaming culture, I think would love the game. Would love the character customization.
Okay, very good. All right, so on to the bad part of it. So for the bad,
glitches.
The glitches were the bad. Was definitely part of the bad part of it. They did hinder the game in some aspects of it. You were still able to enjoy the game, but hindered nonetheless. Like I said, it didn't ruin immersion, but it did affect how you felt about the game as a whole. Because you're like, man, well, maybe I just gonna play it later. Right now, I'm just not in the mindset to play this game. Because real gamers, you got to be in the mindset to play a particular style game.
Right.
Like if I feel like stealth, I'll go grab a classic. We talking my boy Sam Fisher. You want to get some classic stealth, or you want to get some Metal Gear Solid stealth.
Right.
You want some straight up button mashing action. You jump on there and get some some Avengers or something.
Or even some on first person, some not what's the other one? Not Duke Nukem, but the other one, Wolfenstein. The new Wolfenstein, not the Young Blood one, but the one with the father. Just mindless destruction, or even Doom. Yeah. That's another mindless destruction game.
So I would say bad. Now everybody know about the glitches, but I wanted to add something else in there. I wanted to say bad in the fact that it didn't let you see the backstory of none of the paths.
Yes, that's
okay.
right.
I was a street kid, but what did I do before I came into that situation?
Right.
And when a nomad just started off in a garage and a corporal, you don't get to live the lifestyle of the person you are before you go into the story. And then they don't really talk about your previous life or anything like that. Prior to that, like in Street Kid, you went to Chicago for a while. What did you do? What did you go to Chicago for? What did you do? It's mentioned in a quick little dialogue, but it doesn't really give you a chance to do that. And I got another bad from it, but I hope it's not what you're going to say, because I don't want to take it from you.
No.
So the fact that you didn't know anything about their past lives and what they did and stuff like that, I wouldn't say it completely ruined it, but it's definitely a bad, because I want to know why I went to Chicago. How come I can't do a mission in Chicago, or how come the corporal guy can't go to his lavish pad or whatever. We don't even see what kind of, because they took don't mean even to spoil it, but once they take everything from you, you have no idea about your lifestyle. Did you have a real nice pad? Did you have a girlfriend? You have a nice car? What did they actually take from you? And the nomad, he was with the tribe, and they didn't want to do the merge. Can you be in that meeting, go on some mission with your other nomads and all that other stuff? That's kind of a bad for me. I would love to have seen that. I don't know if they got DLCs planned in the future or whatnot, but I would have loved to have seen that in the actual game.
I think, to add on to what you say before we move on, I think one of my things I want to say is that you don't get emotionally invested into the game until Jackie dies. I think for that to really hit home, another spoiler, but anybody that's looking at this already seen about 15 other reviews on it. Hopefully, but this is a spoiler review,
and he did ruin that for me.
This is not a spoiler-free review.
He ruined it for me.
This is a spoiler review, so let me say that now.
He ruined that for me.
Hey,
you know something when Jackie died? And I was like, what?
Yeah, I did tell him that.
I didn't even tell you that.
Okay, yeah,
because he was able to play,
right,
before
true.
I did. I was on the way home, and he calls me like, hey, Jackie died, man. That's messed up. I was like, what?
I think that it would have been more emotional. I think it would have been more emotional scarring if you would have got to go through. I'm gonna say this before I say that. I'm sorry. I can tell that there was a lot of stuff that they wanted to add, or they could have been in the game and they cut.
Yeah.
To me, it was a lot of stuff that it just didn't gel well with me.
Mm-hmm. It felt like incomplete.
Right. I think they should have went. To Chicago as the street kid, did a couple of missions there. Something horrible went wrong, or something happened. You came back. You met Jackie. Now on the Jackie part, I think that you should have been able to do more than 2 missions with Jackie. You did the first mission with Jackie, and you did the mission with the Maelstrom with Jackie. Then you go on to the main mission in Act 1 to get into Act 2. Mm-hmm. I think you should have been able to do more than those missions with Jackie. I think Jackie should have been someone that was with you all the time.
Yeah.
Every mission you went to, when you got back from Chicago and got back into Night City, it shouldn't have just skipped. I think they should have showed a couple of things that you and Jackie did.
I think his death was important to the storyline for the progress to mission because it was an excellent motivator.
Right.
It wasn't as bad as The Last of Us because Joel was iconic.
Yes.
Joel was that's like Batman dying and Robin trying to avenge him.
No.
All right, we ain't gonna talk about that.
Right.
That's emotional scarring for me.
Joel dying, it was emotional scarring.
Anyway, it wasn't that bad, but it made you really like Jackie, and then it pulled Jackie from you.
Right.
But then Jackie's world with his mom and her club and stuff like that, and all the people that you guys knew together was still there. Which made it pretty interesting.
But I'm gonna tell you this: I think that you should have done more with the mom. I think you should have been done more with the family because it pulls you in, but you like, I don't really know you. I've seen you in cutscenes, but I didn't do nothing with you. I didn't sit at your table. I didn't eat with you. I didn't conversate with you. I think if Jackie's gonna be that thing that makes you go after that catalyst, besides what's stuck in your brain, I think that they should have done more with Jackie. I think you should have more time to be with Jackie. So then that death. Like when Ares dies in Final Fantasy, if you played the original Final Fantasy, spoiler, she was with you through half the game before she actually died. So you got to build up all that time with her until when she get there and you see Sephiroth kill her, you're like, whoa, okay, we lost somebody.
Yeah. And
she was gone. It was like no one there to replace her.
I would have loved for Jackie to make it further in the game than that.
Even if there was a way for you to save him, and he was out of commission for a while, or you made a bad call and you killed him. I think that should have been a choice of whether to do one thing or do the other. Maybe the one thing would have got you out the building faster, but he would have died, and maybe the slower route would have been any which way they could have did a choice whether to save Jackie or not. Even if you would have took him out of commission for half the game, or all the act whatever, half of act 2, it would have been better because then you still had all the choices are illusions. If you get what I'm saying, there's really no choice to be made.
True.
So I think what I'm saying is I think all the stories for Corpro, like you said, should have been able to live that life. Yeah. They should have showed you how dope you were before you left, before you got kicked off
so you could really feel the loss.
So you could feel the loss. I mean, I'm like this. I looked at the money. I'm like, I got all this money. I ain't get to spend a dime of it. I ain't get this. They took everything from me. They froze my assets. I'm like, dude, I didn't even get to live. I only got to ride in the hover car one time.
Yeah, and go from work and then go to a bar.
Right,
and
that's
lose
it.
Everything.
Even with the Nomad, same thing. Snake Nation didn't want to join his brother in army. They made a choice to go in. He said no. And in the epilogue, when you crash your car, and I was like, dude, well, Nomad, at least I got my own car starting off. At least I got my car. They took your car from me.
And then Jackie totaled your car, and you like...
Well, it really wasn't totaled. You get your car shot up, and he said, well, I can go get somebody to fix it for you. Why couldn't he...
Yeah.
Come on.
And then it does what he was talking about in the cutscenes, when it skips the time, the 6 months that Jackie and V had built that relationship and went on and showed you a couple of missions. Maybe a DLC will come out where you get to go back and actually do those missions or something like that and spend more time with Jackie. That's my bro. That'll be different. So what's your thoughts on Bad? What was bad for you?
My thing with Bad was the fact that, how can I say this?
Say it with your mouth.
I know, I'm trying to say it properly.
Oh, okay. I mean, it's our channel. You can say it if you want.
I know, but we want to be PG entertainment.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, yes. The beginning quest should have been different on how you approached the quest of Act 1. The main big quest of Act 1 should have been broken down 3 different ways.
Yes. For every life pack.
Right, for every life pack. The corporal should have went through the front door. Mm-hmm. The street kid, T-Bug should have messed up a room and they snuck into the room. Mm-hmm. And even the way they came out should have been different. Mm-hmm. And the enemies they fought should have been different. Yeah. And maybe for the Nomad,
sneak through the back entrance or something.
Or he was the driver because he's a Nomad. He knew how to drive. You don't get to see the things that happen, but you know that Jackie comes out messed up, and another partner that he took with him dies.
Instead of having the automated car system,
right?
Which was a good part of the story too. But instead of doing that, have the Nomad be the wheelman.
Be the wheelman. And I think that would have gave it a little bit more made it a little bit more fun. Because my thing is, why choose all in one different way? Corporal, Street Kid, Nomad, and then everything
same first
mission. Man. To me, it's an illusion of choice. It's an illusion of what I chose.
Yeah.
So my thing is, I think that every first mission to get you to Act 2, it should have been different. It should have been handled different. The enemy should have been different. How you got out should have been different.
Yeah.
Maybe the Nomad, Jackie doesn't die in his story. Jackie lives on. Mm-hmm. Maybe the Corporal, Jackie survives or don't survive. Maybe the Street Kid, he outright just dies because that's the story. I think the story should have been different for each one, because why tell me I get to choose my faction, choose my starting point, choose my life, and then it makes no difference in the story.
Now, here's out there. I want you guys to take this and run with it. Maybe in Street Kid, Jackie gets infected and start to become one of them cyber psychos.
Oh, yeah.
And only you can stop him.
Right.
But then when you stop him, you got a choice to put him down, or you got a choice to leave him alive and keep trying to help him. To get him out of the cycle thing, and then later on the board, he's able to join you in your fight against, whatever one. That would have been awesome. Y'all can take that, send it out there to CD Red and everything. CD Red, just give a shout out to your boy Blitz and the Game Changer Entertainment Channel. My boy Blitz&Blurr came up with the idea. You guys want to ride with the DLC?
Even if you allow Jackie to betray you because he had no choice, because Deshaun said, "I would kill your family." Anything to get
that'd be Corporal.
That would have been Corporal or something like that. Something to show that if I go this way, this will happen. Because the only thing that happens throughout the first chapter, and we're not even going to we're going to stay in the first chapter right now. The first segment of the game is that the dialogues change. Judy became my friend quicker using Corporal than it was Nomad.
Yeah.
So different things will happen where somebody would trust you a little bit more because of your word choices or whatever you can say.
Yeah.
But other than that, to me, that's the one thing I didn't like it. You don't know where they came from. They want you to believe that this automatic Jackie and you just became good friends. Second of all, Jackie's family. When you go, again, this is spoiler, to visit when they sending Jackie off, there's really no emotion. I mean, yes, what you say and how you do it, you feel it, but it's like, I only knew Jackie for 3 hours. If you play it all the way through, you get through the first for 3 hours.
Because you don't get that 6 months.
You don't get to see what's going on that 6 months.
Something else too I wanted to throw in there is your boy Takata, which is the bodyguard for the old man before the old man got killed. Another spoiler thing for everybody. So how did he find Dexter Deshawn?
There you go. They should have showed that.
How did he find Dexter Deshawn to get to you to pull you out the garbage? And then Dexter Deshawn get his face blown off.
Actually,
why it should have showed that. I wanted to see that progress, or at least once you got revived, because they got the data chips, and so he can be like, yeah, what happened to you? Or the brain data. Hey, so how did you even find me, man?
Or even
like, put this in, and then you get to see at least how he broke it down and found everybody.
I would have rather for you to kill him. Maybe push the guy the way he took his gun and blew his brains out. So you get that. So they took that satisfaction from you. Yeah. He shot you in the head.
Before I knew I was going to get shot, my whole situation in that room, when I left Jackie in the limo, in the car, and went upstairs, I wanted to smoke everybody. I went in there, the tension was thick. I was like, and he was like, man, you guys messed up and blah, blah, blah. I said, dude, your intel, what I'm saying, you gave us this. We did what we supposed to do, but the guy showed up, you wasn't on your thing, and then the bodyguard was there all in the face. Dude, I wanted right then and there to be able to pull out and start blazing on them dudes. They say, all right, go to the bathroom, clean your face, you got blood on your face. And I wanted to go in the bathroom and be like,
but to be honest with you, I knew something was happening when he tells me go in there. I didn't want to go in there. You've seen too many movies. You're like, man, this sounds like it was set up.
It was set up city, and I think you should have been able to do something about it. And another thing, I know it's on your bad, but another thing that I felt like, because you were talking about the different life paths, you have different first missions. I think every life path should have a perk as far as cyberware.
Yes.
That a nomad should be able to get cyberware from the nomads. Or dealing with the nomads that the Corporal and the Street Kid guy can't get their hands on.
Or a perk that allows you to do something different. Whether
I'm talking a different piece of cyberware altogether.
Well, yeah, you can.
Like,
I mean, maybe that first piece.
Maybe you can get into a car. Like maybe you can get in the car and control the gun on the roof rack.
There you go. Right.
On your car, you can do a mission to get a certain car, and only a nomad can control the gun on top because he's a nomad.
Right.
And if you get corporal, maybe the corporal can get a hover bike. You know what I'm saying? Just like his connections with the automated studio, or remember that little spider robot that you used?
Yeah, maybe that should have been.
Why can't I get the spider robot back?
Or with the street kids, his wit is really good. Maybe it's a perk to his wit. Maybe he gets more money because he can wheel and deal.
I think the street kid should have had a grappling hook, or hey, look, why not?
Or the street kid could pickpocket everybody see.
Yeah, you doing double jumps and all that. Street kid be like, whoosh, whap. You on a rooftop, maybe you get a sniper rifle. Maybe the street kid can get a sniper rifle
early
that homes in on people. You know what I'm saying? Man, you can get a headlock with a sniper rifle and you just doom. They taking cover and stuff. Well, you know what I'm saying. That's just how I feel.
Anything that we're saying now didn't break the immersion, but it did seem like a push narrative. Like they wanted to get you.
It was totally pushed.
Act 1 to me was just something just to do to get to Act 2. Because Act 2 is when everything really opens up. Yeah. But I think Act 1 should have been done a little bit better in narrative-wise. So by the time you got to Act 2, you felt the loss.
So what he's saying?
You lost T-Boss. I mean, not T-Boss. I said T-Boss. Gee, this is not TLC. T-Bug.
God bless T-Boss. Hope you do fine.
You lost T-Bug.
T-Bone. T-Bone?
T-Bug.
T-Bug.
T-Bug. But I think they should have allowed you to find her body. They should have allowed you to go in there.
She should have had some cyberware that you can get.
Or
some legendary cyberware.
Or she could be locked up in a virtual space that she made that you go and save her. And if you do it in time, you save her life. Something, because all these people you get to know, they just strip her from you. And I'm supposed to be mad. 6 months later, I'm only working for T-Bug for 6 months. And I'm supposed to be mad that she's dead. We never get to see her body. We never get to see nothing.
So, in a game, when you do brain dances, eventually Johnny Silverhand is in your brain dance. Why not do some kind of digital thing where you can interact with T-Boz and play as T-Bug and play as Johnny Silverhand, and he's in there trying to save T-Bug in this virtual reality space that looks like reality or something like that.
Because
you can pull her
because you really don't get to know her. So it's like when you lose your whole crew in the Act 1, it's like I didn't really feel no connection. I felt a little bit of connection when Jackie dies in the car. Cause like, man, that's my dude. I thought he was.
Dude, I thought he was gonna make it.
I was like, wow. So that kind of hit me. And then when you go to meet Dexter Deshawn, Dex, he doesn't even. It's like when you tell him, he just says it's your fault, but he never allows you to see or hear the full story that it wasn't us. The son killed the father, and if T-Bug saw it through our eyes or through the comlink or whatever, she could have forwarded that to him, and he could have known what already happened. Say, man, we didn't,
They got to her.
And
they got to her when they were still in an apartment.
But to me, it was more so like it was forced. It wasn't like, because if Dexter would have said, you know what, I saw everything. That was just bad timing. We didn't know what was going to happen. That happened. And even when he said that would have lulled you into a thing of, man, go in there, clean up. You've been through a lot. Just meditate. Yeah. Even if they would have allowed you to go to sleep and you'd have woke up and he's over you, shot you in the head, that's more better than saying, well, let cool heads prevail and you go in there, clean up. All that right there was forced to get you in the bathroom. My thing is, coming there, he already know, get you to go to sleep, wake up, he got the gun.
I knew that dude was shady.
He got the gun over your head and he pulls the trigger, you die like that. Because that's more realistic than me telling you, going there. I'm not going to wash my face. We need to find out what's going on now.
I ain't washing my face. So when he's talking about Act 1, Act 1 is up until the part you get shot in the head.
Right.
Act 2 starts when
wake you up,
pull you out the garbage and everything. So Jackie had the chip in his head. Jackie got shot. Jackie's dying. If Jackie would have died, would Silverhand and the chip brought him back?
No, I don't think so. I think because you got shot in the head where the chip was. Because remember the guy said you got shot in your head. I think it hit the chip, and the chip started repairing itself.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was. The chip started repairing itself.
So if Jackie would have died, the chip just would have been in his head.
Right. I think because you got shot. Because he said it was luck. You got shot. It damaged, I think what he said, if I'm not mistaken, it damaged the the chip in your head, which caused the nanonites to come out and start repairing it and repairing you.
Yeah, okay.
Because that was the case. Jackie's puncture was here. Once he put it in, the nanite should have said, "Oh, this host is dying. Let's hurry up and get him done." I think what activated was you getting shot in the head.
True. That's good. Think on that.
I think that's what got it when you got shot in the head.
All right, let's move to the ugly.
I don't think there's an ugly for me. Everything, we see the love they put in the game, and we haven't even gotten to Act 2. We see the love they put in the game so far. We see everything they've done. I don't think there's an ugly. Even with the myriad of bugs.
What's up with you and the word myriad today?
I don't know.
I like it.
With all the countless of bugs.
No, stick to myriad.
Myriad of bugs. I think that there really wasn't an ugly for me. I was never broken out of the immersion of the game. I was never to the point where I wanted to put my fist through the screen and say, "Forget you." And, with all the things that we're saying that maybe made the story a little better, maybe give us a little bit more like in Jackie factor, or just, the story of, because when the mother said, you've ate at our house. Well, yeah, and there's flashbacks I ate at your house, but I never met you. That's my first time meeting the Golden Fist cowboy sitting behind the bar with the golden arm. The
bartender?
Yeah, the bartender.
Oh, that's my man right there.
You don't get
He sent you on a mission to find out about his wife cheating
right.
on him too.
So we don't get to see none of that. So we don't know none of those, but those people know you. So it's like, okay, I don't know you. So I have no...
That connection's not...
So even all the connections that could have been made through doing... I think the first mission should have... I think the first time you meet, it should have been longer. Like we talked about before. The corporal should have been doing corporal things. The nomad should have been doing nomad things. And the street kid should have been doing street kid.
How did he even know Jackie? How did the corporal guy know Jackie?
I think they were... Because Jackie said he helped them when they were in Mexico. And
why couldn't we see that?
Well, that would have been perfect to start them off so you can see the friendship. Because remember, he said,
I didn't meet each other in Mexico as he's corporate.
But he told him, he said, I did not turn on you then, and I could have turned on you and had you killed. Remember, Jackie said that when he was sitting, if you go down different options, Jackie says that. I would have killed you. They could have killed you, but I kept that secret so you could trust me.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of backstory that I believe they just cut and left on the floor to get the game out. So I don't think there's an ugly for me. At this moment in Act 1, there's not an ugly for me.
Okay.
I see the love they put in the game. I see the direction they want to put. Yes, some things are done in a hasteful way. Some things need to be done a little bit better as far as story-wise, connect to everybody. But I don't have an ugly.
Okay. So you made some pretty good points in there. So for me, I can't say that I can see it. Ugly is with things we consider game breakers, which ruins the game for you, which make you be like, okay, I can walk away.
Right.
Or I don't want to see what's going to happen next because I'm just not interested.
Right.
None of that stuff is occurring for me either. I think the game is done. What I think it is, in my humble opinion as a user, as an end user for the product and not a developer, or I don't write codes and all that stuff. I think the game that was released is probably 70 to 80% complete. I don't think we got a complete game. I think budget cuts, time restraints,
bad decisions,
coding issues, and things like that. Because I bet if there was a proverbial cutting room floor that we can look at for stuff that was supposed to be in the game, i.e. the trailers and reviews and things of that nature at E3 and things of that nature, it was a lot more they wanted to put in that game, and I don't feel like it's CD Red's fault. I feel like there were time restraints. There are what do you call those guys who there's stockholders and people who pour money into the accounts and stuff like that. They wanted to produce a product because they got quotas to meet.
Right.
So I think all that played into a factor of them releasing the game without being able to quite put everything they wanted in it. I think if they were able to do everything, maybe they wanted to do different life paths and different first missions for everybody. Maybe the game for one life path would have been completely different,
right,
including the missions and people you meet, because you're not going to necessarily meet the same people.
No.
Doing a different life path. You wouldn't meet Pan Am. You wouldn't be at the CD bar meeting certain people. Yes, you
Right.
have a corporate style thing where you dealing with corporate style people,
Right.
and things of that nature, and cyberware and stuff included. Like I think there should be different cyberware rip docs if you in corporate, or if you're a street kid, or if you. There are no cyber. Are there any cyber docs in Borderland? Oh yeah, there is. There's at the camp.
Yeah.
At Pan Am's camping and stuff like that. But there should be completely different cyber docs out there. Anyway, but I think there's not an ugly for me, because I think if time would have allotted and technology would have progressed and things of that nature, I think they would have been able to put everything in that game they wanted. I think there's a cutting room floor, or there's some external hard drives around their office that has like a ton of great material in it, dialogue and things of that nature, and that they can probably have put in that game, but they couldn't. I don't think it's ineptitude. I think it just didn't fall like it should have been.
I think.
I don't think
I'm not correcting you, but I do think it's a little bit of CD Projekt Red fault. I think the upper management made some bad calls, and we have to. I'm going to say it. They make some bad calls.
Well, I'm saying if they did make those calls, I think those calls are based on the outside sources. Like, hey, look, we fronted you so much money, or we have. Look, we going to give you Keanu Reeves, but for so long we're not paying that fee or whatever, or all the mocap studio, and it's a bunch of different factors that go into that. It's
You're right.
1,000 moving parts just to do a video game now.
You're right, but I want to still be level-headed, and I'm not saying you're not being. You are, but I think that they made some bad choices.
Super level-headed.
I think they made some bad choices because I think they should have just been upfront and say it's not done. Now, would it have? Because gamers were so fickle. When they said it was going to be pushed back a month, if you listen to the rumor mill, people got sent death threats. And nobody, people don't want to deal with that stupid
I want to
stuff.
play this game I never played before that's never been done anything like it in the world. I'm
it's just
expecting it
stupid.
to be a certain way.
So I think there's a lot. If we were all flies on the wall, hearing all the calls, all the numbers, all the groans, because I'm not going to believe everything that somebody tells me, because there's another side to the story. There's always another side that gives you a perspective of what really went on. So I would say that it could have been investors. It could have been anything that allowed the game not to get to where it is. It could have been CD Projekt Red's fault, bad decision making on what to cut, what to keep, what to throw. You know what I'm saying? Because all that's in-house.
Yeah.
The investors ain't going to tell you, well, that's too long. So I don't have an ugly. He said he didn't have an ugly. So, right now from the first part, we already talked about
the deepness of
the second half.
Into the deepness of it.
But let me ask you a question. Everything that happened in the first act, did it make you want to go into the second act to find out?
Yes.
Okay.
I want to see the game through. I want to progress further in the game to find out what's going on. I want to meet the people. There's people I haven't met yet I want to meet.
Right.
And interact with them and things of that nature, and so on like that. How about you?
For me, it made me want to see what happened.
Would you think it's safe to say this? Would you think it's safe to say they should have backed the game up another couple of months?
I would have said another 6 months.
Another 6 months?
Maybe a year.
Okay. There you have it.
Maybe a year. And the reason why I say that, because I think the bugs, because the PlayStation and Xbox are older bits of hardware, I think it would have took a little bit more to iron out all those bugs.
And remember, they started in 2012.
Right.
The technology from 2012 to
now
2020 or
different.
2021, that's a huge jump.
And everybody say it looks different. It looks like old. But you gotta remember when I'm drawing something from 2012 all the way now, it's gonna look different. It's not gonna be like the up to date stuff, because I don't know. I'm not a coder. I'm not a programmer. I don't know what it takes to take one project and put it on another new engine to make it look better. I don't know. If it takes a lot. If you can just download it, copy and paste it, and it'll run, or you have to start from the ground zero.
It's technologies that exist now, processors that exist now, that wasn't even done for back then.
Right.
A lot of these times, these big AA projects, AAA projects rather, come up with these things. They create their own engines because what they want to do doesn't exist. So they actually create their own.
Let me ask you a question. Now, this is what I heard online. How do you think Keanu Reeves? I know we're getting to, we're gonna get into that. So, do you give his performance an A, B? Do you give it a?
I think it's an A, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because the character.
Don't go into too much. Just
okay. His character felt natural to me.
Okay.
It didn't feel forced. It made Johnny Silverhand was a musician who went behind the scenes and did these pseudo-terrorist attacks on these particular things because behind the scenes he knew the truth behind what was happening. But in the forefront, he was this musician that everyone didn't take too seriously. Now, mind you, in the cyberpunk world, it was 50 years ago, which would have been 2027, for back then. So it's like an old back in the day type thing. And he was hip to things that other people weren't.
Because he was part of a war. He saw the atrocities of war. He was in that war.
He was a soldier.
Right.
So what he knew and how he reacted to stuff was the basis of his personality.
Okay, right there. Leave it on.
Yeah.
Leave it on. I think is an A to me. I like the way they portrayed him. And we're going to get into that in the second half, but I just wanted to hit on a little few points I heard.
Some people thought it was flat.
I didn't think it was flat. I think he acted like Keanu Reeves. I'm sorry to say.
Keanu Reeves can pull it off.
Yeah, he pulled it off.
I'm not sure who else could have done it, but
he pulled it off.
I think he did a great job.
Yeah. So right now we're gonna cut it there because we don't want to get too much into the chapter 2 as we go in there and tell you how we like chapter 2, whether we liked it or we didn't like it. But this is, been just our initial our review of the first chapter of the game, because the first chapter has a lot that is built. It's a lot that it lays the groundwork on what you're going to do in chapter 2 and 3.
All right. So we deal with the foundation. Next, we're going to deal with the skeleton of the building, with that's going to hold the structure up. And
gameplay.
We'll deal with the walls and the roof.
The gameplay and stuff like that. We're going to deal with that. I mean, the gameplay. I mean, just in the first act, I loved it. The guns felt real. The sounds felt real.
Yeah. We'll get on the details.
The cybernetics. Woo!
Who uses that word?
Cybernetics. I'm a Borg. I can interface with everything.
Anyway, yo, think this has been Game Changers Entertainment. Please hit like.
Please subscribe.
Hit share. Leave a comment on there what you think. If you agree or disagree, give us a thumbs up on that thing. Yo, it's your
even
boy
if you didn't like, even if you didn't like it, give us a thumbs down. It all helps. Yo,
don't give us thumbs down. Yo, this is your boy Blitz.
And I'm your boy Blur.
Thank you so much for tuning in, guys.
Peace out.
See you.